Mama Made Me Do It, where Southern folks tell funny stories about things their Southern mamas made them do. I'm Julia Fowler, and I'm here today with Celia Rivenbark. Celia was born and raised in Duplin County, North Carolina, but she currently lives in beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina.
I do indeed, and I have never lived more than 37 miles from the place where I was born, just like Jesus.
Just like Jesus. I love it. Well, Celia is a New York Times best-selling author, as well as a national syndicated humor columnist. And if you've never read Celia's books, I highly recommend them. She is absolutely hilarious. I'm a huge fan. Her books have titles such as Bless Your Heart, Tramp, Stop Dressing Your 6-year-old Like a Skank, and maybe my favorite title, You Can't Drink All Day If You Don't Start in the Morning. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Celia.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So tell me about your Southern mama.
Well, she was a little bit of a rebel. I mean, very, traditional in some ways, but in other ways, not so much so. The best way I can describe it is, here's a good example. Every summer, the Billy Graham Crusade would be on TV, and she would make sure the whole family was on that oval braided rug in front of the TV paying close attention, but she would also do it while drinking an orange juice and vodka. So, a little bit different.
Well, Jesus drank wine.
Well, that's a good point.
So,
that is a good point.
At least she was listening to Billy Graham while she was drinking her scotch.
Yes, it was like a little tradition. Right.
Your mama sounds like a character.
She was a character, and she was very opinionated. She was very outspoken. She was very well read, very intelligent, and she was very judgmental. In other words, she was just like me.
Just like you.
Yes.
I know. Well, we all turn into our mamas, isn't that the truth?
We do.
So what kind of stuff did you and your mama like to do together?
Well, one of the things we like to do is something a lot of Southern women do together, and that's watch soap operas, or we call them the stories.
The stories.
The stories.
Yes.
You cannot miss the stories.
No, my mom and I used to watch Search for Tomorrow together. That was her.
Search for Tomorrow. Yes. We were big into All My Children, Days of Our Lives, that sort of thing. To the point of ridiculousness, I can remember when I was in middle school, my mother actually sent a note to school asking for me to be excused from class, and she said, please excuse my daughter from school because she needs to watch the wedding of Erica Kane and Dr. Jeffrey Martin.
Yes.
Yes, and she said it promises to be a lovely affair, and I'm sure you wouldn't want her to miss it. And here's the funny thing. Because it's the South, it was an excused absence.
You got an excused absence to watch Erica Kane's wedding.
Yes, it's the South.
Of course, only in the South.
Right.
That is really funny. Now, you're going to like this story. All My Children was my favorite soap opera growing up. I loved All My Children. And I used to go down the street and watch it with my friend Leanne Corbett. And we were obsessed with All My Children. So later on in life, when I was on Broadway, I was in a show called Annie, Get Your Gun, and Bernadette Peters was the star of the show, but she took a leave of absence. And when she took a leave of absence, the producers brought in none other than Susan Lucci to fill in for her. And I was totally starstruck.
I am so jealous hearing this right now. You don't even know. You do not know.
I got to work with Erica Kane. And I have to say, y'all, she's super, super nice. And she was extremely gracious to the cast.
I'm
and
not
she
surprised.
gave fantastic gifts. So thank you, Miss Lucci.
Oh my gosh, it's green as a toad hearing this.
I know, green as a toad. So tell me something funny that your mama made you do.
Well, I don't know. To me, it's funny, but she was always very concerned with appearance, like many Southern mamas. And what she would do is she would roll my hair up on paper bags, which is crazy, I know. But she would get paper bags from the A&P, and she would cut the strips, and then she would roll my hair up like this, twist it at the end, and then I would sleep on it, and I would wake up with a full head of curls, which was really very clever.
It was.
I thought everybody did that.
Right.
I thought everybody had
redneck hot rollers.
Yes, yes. She took it to the extreme because one thing she did, I'll never forget this, is she had read in the back of a magazine about something called the amazing chin strap.
Yes.
And so this is because she was worried about her waddle. And as you can see, her whole life when she was photographed, you would see her like this. You know?
Yes, yes.
And so she ordered for me and for the two of us. My sister wanted no part of this foolishness.
Right.
The amazing chin strap. And what we would do when it arrived, you put it was very tight.
Right.
And you put it on like this, and then at the top you tightened as tight as you could stand it and still be, breathing and upright.
Right.
And so we would sit there on the couch, for hours.
Yes, yes.
Watching TV in our matching amazing chin straps, waiting for our double chin, my potential double chin and her double chin to disappear overnight, practically. But nothing, I have to say, my sister would walk through and she would go, "What are y'all doing?
What are you doing? Well, we're working on your waddle.
Right.
So I like this picture of her. Is this what she's doing, hiding the waddle?
Oh, yeah, she's hiding the waddle, as you can see. Yes.
Well, double chin's run in my family too. It's on the Bonner side. It's on my mama's side of the family.
I see no evidence of that.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I'll have to see if they're still making the amazing chin strap. If y'all see me sitting around like this, you'll know I'm working on my double chin.
I'm afraid it was not all that amazing.
And does she have any other gadgets or things?
She did. She was also very enchanted by it. Well, she had sized me up early on, and it was true. I had gotten the Rivenbark chest, which is, not much going on.
Sort of like two
here.
Raisins on an ironing board.
That is correct. That is correct. And yeah, I love that. And so she had ordered Beauty Breast.
Beauty Breast.
Beauty Breast.
Beauty Breast.
It's spelled B-R-E-S-T.
They couldn't even spell it right.
They couldn't spell it right. I don't know.
Made in China.
May have been a marketing thing. I don't know. But here's what it was. You've never heard of it?
Never.
Let me explain how it works.
Clearly, I've never heard of it.
Let me just create a mental picture for you.
Okay.
So Beauty Breast arrived, like the amazing chin strap in the mail, and it was a funnel that you place right here over your dinner. And then it had a long, like a siphon hose that you hooked up to your tub in the bathroom, right? And then you were told to turn the faucets on hard as it could go, hard as it could go. So
lots of air, lots of water pressure.
That water pressure would zoom up into the funnel, and the idea was that Beauty Breast would then stimulate your capillaries and whatnot. I'm not a medical person.
Right.
And
it would stimulate the blood flow, and it's supposed to make your boobs grow.
That is correct.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
Know,
it did not work.
It did not
So we're down, 2 products that did not live up to potential.
Women will pay anything for beauty products.
I know.
It's so hysterical. But I always say go into the mascara business because you can be dirt poor, but we're not going to skimp on our mascara.
You are so right. Or the lipstick.
Or
mascara
lipstick.
Or lipstick. That is so
or
true.
lipstick. Yes. I love it. Did your mama make you dress up and stuff growing up too?
Gosh, yes.
Yeah.
The one time, we didn't have a lot of money, but the one thing we could depend on was every Easter Eve on our beds would be Easter outfits that she had bought for us. And then we
is that you and your sister?
Yes, it is. We lived out in the country, and what you would do every Easter is put on your outfit. Of course, went to church.
Yes.
But afterward, you would come home and stand for a photo session.
Yes, in the yard.
Like Vogue or something, right there in the yard.
Well, I love it. You got your bonnet, and you got your cute little lady purse with the lace.
Yes.
You
and
probably
I had the little glovelets or whatever they're called.
And your feet are cut off, but I bet you money you got on white patent shoes.
I think you're exactly right. And the other thing that she would do, and I think a lot of Southern mamas do this, is they love the mother-daughter dresses. So my mama had these 2 little girls. We were 2 years apart, and she would order dresses so we could all match, until it got to the point of, well, that doesn't look real normal, But as you can see, I have done this in my own life with my daughter Sophie.
You have?
When I was fortunate and blessed enough to have her at the tender age of 40.
Wow, that is a blessing.
Right. I could not hardly wait to order some matching outfits.
You got matching dresses.
Of course.
And she's too young to protest, of course, at that moment.
Yeah. She thought we were styling.
Yes, well, you were styling.
We were. Old habits die hard.
Well, my mama, I know, was a stickler for thank yous. Did you?
Oh, my gosh,
Was your mama like that, too?
Oh, so much so. It was a crazy time. She and my grandmother would ingrain in us, you have to write your thank you notes before you can even, as soon as you opened a gift, you couldn't play with it, you couldn't wear it, you had to sit down at the kitchen table and write that thank you note before you even got to use the gift.
Yes, and it had to be like a good thank you note, right?
It
couldn't be rote. It had to be descriptive and specific to the gift. Yes. And, it's a whole thing. I mean, I talk about it in my book. I always say that my mama basically trained me to write Pulitzer Prize winning thank you notes.
I've no doubt.
Yes.
I saw something, an abomination that I have never seen before in the store, the stationery store. It's pre-printed thank you notes, and it's like dear, and then the child fills in the name, thank you for thee, and then they fill out, no. Oh, no.
Listen to me carefully, people. do not buy those thank you notes. That is
not.
tacky beyond words.
It's so tacky, right?
Tacky beyond words.
So the way it's worded is the kid, and I suffered all those years at that kitchen table.
Yes.
You know, some kid now has got 3 words.
No,
Thank
no.
you for the blank.
No, that is half stepping, and we do not half step as Southern women,
No,
honey.
we
go
do not.
full out.
That's right.
Full
That's right.
out.
That's
Why
right.
do when you can overdo?
That's right. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, words to live by.
Words to live by.
And we were also told, when somebody gives you a compliment, you must say thank you with great enthusiasm and
Yes,
sincerity,
yes.
And it's in my social DNA, and I did not realize it until, because, a Southern mom would go, what do you say? And you have to say, thank you,
Right.
Mrs. Frog Bottom or whatever, So I didn't realize how that had carried over into my adult life until recently, and I heard myself say this to my grown husband who had been complimented. We were at a party, and his boss was there, and his boss said something like, thanked him for doing a good job or something, and I overhear this, and I paused. I had a drumette, finger extended, my pinky extended, drumette halfway to my mouth, and I heard me tell my grown husband, what do you say? And he goes, thank you, because he was raised by a Southern woman.
Yes, yes.
And meanwhile, the boss, who's from like Philadelphia or somewhere, he's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, right. Right. He didn't understand. But it's good to be married to a Southern man because
He
he
is a good-
understands.
Yes,
Yes.
he is a good
Here's
fella.
Scott right here.
Yeah, he's a good fella, and this picture obviously is a few years old, but it illustrates how I cannot get away from dragging the kid out into the yard on Easter morning and getting the obligatory picture.
That's right. You're doing exactly what your mother did.
Yes, exactly.
You probably don't think you're going to end up doing all the same things your mama does, but you
Oh.
end up doing them.
Exactly. You want to be a rebel, but you do things like, well, my mama always wanted me on the back of a float because every Southern mama does it. And
Yes.
look here.
Yeah,
look
oh,
here.
there you
look
are.
here.
Yes,
I'm
Southern
on
girls
the back
love-
of
yes.
Now, I am a little long in the tooth, to be a queen, but this is when I was crowned the North Carolina Pecan Harvest Festival Queen.
We are here with royalty, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, please.
Royalty.
Oh, please.
Did you win? What'd you win as the pecan
I
harvest
got
festival?
5 pounds of pecans.
5 pounds of pecans. You got pies for days.
I got some pecan tassies.
pecan tassies.
Yes, I did.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Tell me about this outfit you're
Well,
wearing
the
on this
outfit
parade
is
float.
I had to borrow a fur because I didn't have one lying around.
Yes.
I borrowed my evening gown.
Yes.
And the worst thing here is it's obvious I'm a parade rookie.
Yes, yes.
Because you should actually have the gizmo behind you. I'm riding it like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, you cutting the grass.
Going through the streets of Whiteville, North Carolina, and just hanging on. But notice how the sweet junior queen
Yeah.
is totally at ease.
Yeah, she's casually waving
This
with her
is
hands
not
in her
her
pocket.
first parade.
No, this is
you
not
know.
her first
And
parade.
clearly it is
Yeah,
mine.
she has parade skills. she has
mad,
parade skills.
Mad parade skills.
Well, I have to say, I have a fabulous memory of riding in a parade. My very first parade I ever got to ride in, I was wee Miss Gaffney. And we got to ride on the parade float as so it was wee Miss Gaffney and little Miss Gaffney, who was also my friend Leanne Corbett, who I said we watched All My Children with. That's how we became friends, is because I was wee Miss Gaffney, she
Good
was little Miss
bonding.
Gaffney. Right, good bonding. And then Miss Gaffney got to ride the float, and then we also on our float got to ride with the Grand Marshal of the South Carolina Peach Festival Parade,
Wow.
and his name was William Shatner.
Oh,
yes,
that's nice.
yeah, it was. So I have these cute little parade photos, and of course, I'm
That's
just
incredible.
I'm just proud as I can be
You
to
ought
be
to be.
riding on
That's
that
a
parade.
big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. But now, have you made your daughter ride on the parade float?
I can't get past the William Shatner. Oh no. Well, I haven't made her ride a float because I didn't have to make her. She wanted to be an Azalea Belle.
An Azalea Belle.
Yes.
Now,
Now
tell me
this
about
is
that.
well, this is a program if you're a high school junior and you're a girl and you hadn't gotten in too bad of trouble.
Yeah, you're not pregnant or in jail.
Thank you.
Yes, there you go.
You can be, and you can apply to be an Azalea Belle, and I was bound and determined that she would be one.
Right.
And she took to it.
Yeah, she took to it.
So she did end up being float worthy. You can see
She's in her-
carrying her parasol and her Carolina blue. She got to choose what color gown.
Carolina blue, honey.
And look at me, I'm grinning like a mule eating briars. Look at
Yes,
that.
you
Look
are
at
a
that.
very proud
I'm puffed
mama.
Up. I'm puffed up.
You puffed up, and you're very proud of that Southern Belle.
Yes.
So now your daughter just graduated from college, am I correct?
She did. She graduated from the University of North Carolina.
I'm from the University of South Carolina, so we'll just agree to disagree.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree on that point, but she's beautiful.
Oh,
what a lovely lady she's turned out to be.
Just a little something I threw together 22 years ago.
Well, I have to say, it must be really hard raising a Southern belle in today's fast-paced society.
It is a little bit of a challenge, and it's interesting because I consider myself to be, you know, a little bit like my mama in the rebel category. But the truth is, I'm actually pretty traditional. You know, I've tried to ingrain in her the things like, in high school we fought about this a little bit. I would say, don't let a boy, you know, come up to the house and honk the horn.
No.
And then you run out. I said, that's not going to happen. He needs to come to the door and meet us.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And I said, if he does honk the horn, I will be the one that runs out there to his car, and it's not going to go well.
No, it's not going to go well. No, my mama was the same way.
Right.
If a boy came to my house to pick me up and he honked that horn, she was like, you are absolutely not going out with that hoodlum. You can forget it. He's a hoodlum.
He's a hoodlum.
He's a hoodlum.
Well, you know, and I have become the same stickler about writing thank you notes and saying thank you. You know, we joke about it, you know. And now that she's graduated.
Graduated.
You know, and she's going to have her big girl apartment in Charlotte soon, I have said, you're not too young to know this. You've got to have a funeral casserole in the freezer.
That's right.
You've got to, you know. And my mother taught me that, and her grandmother taught her that before her. And this is I think this is a Southern thing.
Yes.
To keep it right ready and call it a funeral casserole.
Yes.
And so I can remember my mother, she would make something for the bereaved, but she didn't like to be associated with death. She found it very unpleasant.
Yeah, death is unpleasant.
Death is such a downer. So I was the one, she would give me these big casseroles, and I would have to balance it on my handlebars and put it on my bicycle and ride it over to whoever had suffered a loss. A loss. And so if she complains, Sophie ever complains, I'll say, at least you don't have to deliver, you know, broccoli and chicken and cheddar casserole
on your handlebars
to the dear bereaved family on your handlebars.
Well, it is true that the thing about the funeral casseroles, I mean, I think all Southern women have a signature casserole. Any Southern woman worth her salt has a signature casserole. I've always called those casseroles a disaster roll because you kind of keep one in your freezer in case of disaster. You know, no matter what the tragedy is or the disaster is, the remedy is a casserole.
A disaster roll.
A disaster roll.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
I think maybe if I do that, she will actually do it because
she'll understand.
It's a little bit more all-encompassing, you know. If she has a friend who has a bad breakup, disaster roll.
Disaster roll.
Disaster roll.
Exactly. So anyway, I want to read a fan story, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is Gary Anderson wrote me. He's from South Carolina. Hey, Gary. Hope you're doing good. All right. So Gary says, I stumbled across your videos online, and everything y'all said reminded me of something my mama or my big mama said. The most prevalent was when my big mama asked me about a girl I was interested in. I had to confess I was a bit bashful. But Big Mama said with love, son, life's just too damn short to go through it with a pine burr up your ass, so crap it out and ask that gal to go out with you. It took me a week to garner the intestinal fortitude, but because Big Mama said to do it, I finally asked her out. That date was so good, we're still at it 45 years later. Isn't that fantastic?
I love that.
Well, congratulations, Gary, and to your sweet wife. I'm so happy for y'all. That's fantastic. How long have you been married?
Oh, 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I just celebrated my 16th wedding anniversary last week.
Congrats.
Yes, you know. And years ago, I read this little saying. It said that marriage is like a bath. It's not so hot after you've been in it for a while.
Oh.
But you know, I just don't think that's true.
I agree. That's not true.
Right? I think if you really listen to your Southern mamas and you don't just run out with every hoodlum that comes and honks the horn and wants you to get in a car with them, right?
And if you use your beauty breast.
Your beauty breast
and your amazing chin strap.
Right? You too can have a happy marriage. Right?
That's all it takes.
Well, honey, this has been so much fun. You are so funny. I really encourage y'all to check out Celia's books and her humor blog. You can find all of that information on her website, CeliaRivenbark.com, and you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Celia Rivenbark. Please send me your Mama Made Me Do It stories. You can contact me through our website, SouthernWomenChannel.com. Bye, y'all.